Guys, there's a question here. That's why it's good for you to send in questions. I'm going to make a video by request, okay? The person asked, does COREM really oversee professional practice, and how is that done? And companies in the healthcare field do performance evaluations of their professionals. The evaluations follow the guidelines of Law 7498-86. I'm going to answer this in several layers, okay? And I'm going to give you a point of view so you can understand more about COREM and also about the Federal Council. By the way, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. That way we can bring you these topics. And I'm a very straightforward person, and I don't take sides with B or COREM, the union, nothing. I'm someone, thank God, who can speak openly, especially because I don't owe anything to anyone. So let's talk about what's true. Does COREM really oversee professional practice? Guys, yes and no. Wait, Edu, what do you mean? Yes and no. I'm from COREM, guys. The first thing we need to understand is this. I'll use Minas Gerais as an example, even though I live in the Federal District. The Federal District is easier because it has a smaller territory, but I'll use a large territory as an example, which is Minas Gerais. Minas Gerais is in Belo Horizonte, the capital. Man, Minas Gerais is huge. It's really huge. So when we say, does COREM supervise? Yes and no. COREM doesn't have enough inspectors to operate everywhere. And if there's anyone from COREM here, you can even have someone check this. To add to what I'm saying, for example, I don't know how many municipalities there are in Minas Gerais, but I know there are a lot. They don't have enough people to cover everywhere. The health institutions that have nursing in a, let's say, voluntary way, like I'm going to visit Bolinhas Hospital, I don't know, João 23 is in Belo Horizonte, right? But let's take a hospital in Uberlândia, which is in the triangular region. That's still easy, but if you take a small town, man, they don't have enough people. So how does it work? Usually it's through a report, whether anonymous or direct or some kind of scandal, it gets attention. So here's the thing, when we look at it, we say, wow, but there aren't enough inspectors. Man, think about the size of Minas Gerais. Think about the size of Minas Gerais. How many inspectors are there? I could be wrong, but there aren't even 10. I could be wrong. If there's anyone from Minas there, from Conrail, let us know, okay? Man, if there were 10, how could 10? Can you do inspections voluntarily? Like, you know, okay, today is the day to inspect any institution we want. Because I think it's kind of impossible for them to do that in such a big state, you know? In a state like Minas Gerais, São Paulo has a lot of people, but look at the size of the state, the population, the institutions. So, when we look at the Federal District, which is small, the square here in the Federal District, even here it's not possible to do all this kind of inspection like that. Wow, guys, Monday, let's go. Let's spin the roulette here. Anchieta Hospital. I went around here at the base hospital. Man, it's not possible with this number. And then people say, oh, Correa doesn't inspect where you work anonymously, so he can go there specifically. Because here's the thing. When you file a complaint, you have to get a response, and that response is the inspection team's visit to your workplace. The question is, do people do that? Or are they afraid of losing their jobs? Oh, I'm afraid of losing my job, okay? Are you afraid of losing your job? But you work in conditions that might even be subhuman or in unhealthy conditions. Which do you prefer? So, what's the point? Complaining, guys, here's the thing. Complain the right way. There's no point in complaining on social media or complaining in a post. Complain where you need to complain. If you're from Correa in São Paulo, go there and make an anonymous report. Correa in Mato Grosso, go there and make an anonymous report. You don't need to expose who it was. You don't agree with what's happening in your workplace, whether it's home care, a hospital, or a clinic, there's nursing staff there. If you see that things are all wrong, make a report. Correa will go there now. Wow, but for me, in my mind, Correa should just show up there unexpectedly. I also think it should be that way. But that's the thing. It's about the number of people in the inspection team, because not everyone from the council does inspections, only the inspectors do. So you have to look at this issue of demand. So here's the thing. Correa inspects, but he can't manage to inspect everything. That's my point of view, the way it should work, both for handling complaints and on a voluntary basis. But I believe, I'm not on any council to tell you this, but I believe there isn't enough staff or logistics to handle all these issues. Think about the state of Amazonas, where Correa Amazonas is the capital, Manaus. Imagine what it would be like to supervise the state of Amazonas when we don't have that many territories. How can I say this? Here, we don't have an easy way to get from one place to another because there are many streams, riverside communities, and lakes. River, there are so many things in there. Can you imagine it? The thing is, it's Correa Amazonas for the whole state. And then, in my opinion, I don't know, I don't think it's possible, man. I could be wrong. That's why I want someone to comment down here, right here. Tell the truth here. I don't think it's possible, you know? I don't know how many inspectors there are in each Correa Amazonas. I believe it's proportional to the number of registered people. So, just so we can understand these issues. So, my point of view that I want you to take into consideration is if it's bothering you, report it anonymously. So you won't be exposed and won't suffer retaliation, which could be getting fired or being persecuted, something like that. Make an anonymous report, really anonymous. Oh, right. You can do it by stating who you are or remaining anonymous. So I always think the following: whenever I see someone making a fuss on social media, they're already starting to make a mistake. Thank you.
Eater, I wish Corém would go there and pay the minimum wage that was promised, but they don't pay it.
For God's sake, what do you want Corém to do? It's not Corém's responsibility to oversee salaries. That's the union where you live, which represents the nursing workers where you are. So here's the thing: if you think the federal council or the regional council should go there, report it. Look, we're not getting the minimum wage. How many years has it been since it was approved and we still don't get it? They pulled maneuver A or B here in the company. They changed my position, put me as an assistant, and I don't know what else. Did you report it? You know the union, not the Corém, handles all labor issues, right? But anyway, even if you don't know, you filed a complaint, so with Corém, because what can Corém do, right? That's not my responsibility, but I'll contact the union about a complaint that came to us, because every complaint needs a response. Hey, it's not with us, but we've already contacted the union, for example. I notice many people like doing various things. And where's Corém? I don't know what, guys. So, answering the colleague who sent the message, do this, guys, Corém. It has to be your partner. But he can't imagine what's going on in your work environment if you don't speak up. In my point of view, there should be more people working at Corém to be able to do all this checking, right? This inspection should happen naturally, not just because of complaints. But since I think that's not possible, then do your part. Make your anonymous report so it reaches the place where you work, so that the working conditions can be changed. Recently, here in the federal district, something happened that worked out because it got a lot of attention. A certain institution, which you probably already know, said that nursing technicians, nurses in short, couldn't use the elevators. Only patients and doctors could. That's already been dropped. The hospital removed that rule. Why? Because a lot of people complained and reported that institution. You see that the power of reporting, oversight, and all that works, but maybe the institution itself doesn't, not even knowing. You see, so I'm not defending Corém at all. I think they need to increase the number of inspectors, but you also need to understand how things work there. I don't know how many inspectors there are, but I know that the states in our country, thank God, are different from somewhere like Europe. We have states that are bigger than a European country. For example, with only 10 inspectors, it's almost impossible if they're all concentrated in the capitals of a huge state. So here's the thing, answering the question that I had already answered at the beginning. The Corém does carry out inspections, yes, but maybe not in the way it should. So yes, it inspects, but no, not in the way it should. From my point of view, of course, it's important for people from Corém, for the council members who are there, to be able to express a bit of what I said here. To talk about your state, how does it work? Because that's it, guys. Corém is not our enemy. We end up thinking that Corém just wants to collect the annual fee and doesn't do anything. When maybe I don't do something that I could do, I could demand better conditions. I could say, Corém, where are you? A free course? Offer us a free course, give us a free big class, we pay the annual fee, we can't keep buying courses. I don't know, have you ever requested this from Corém? He can. Look, I'm dodging the question, but you get it, man. Go ahead and challenge them. Corém has influence. Corém can bring people, bring teachers to bring interesting things for you. Think about that, okay? So, try to have Corém as an ally for you, not as an enemy. If we have more enemies, that's it. We already have too many enemies in nursing. We end up arguing, then you're against the council, and other councils from different fields already dislike nursing. Put it all together and we're really in trouble, right? As the saying goes in Minas, the cow is going to the creek.